I think that spring is a beautiful reminder of rebirth, that we can change ourselves at any given point we want. Of course, we have our gloomy days, of course, we have our dark days, and that's what I associate with winter, right? That's why we have things such as seasonal depression, because everything gets dark faster, the weather is cold, you just want to stay inside and reset and recharge. And that is also a natural part of life, not just seasonal, but spiritually, right? We all go through our winters sometimes, and that's completely natural, Sometimes all you can do is reset, recharge, and just remember to breathe. Just remember that you just being is enough. You simply just being here, breathing alive on this planet is worth everything you could ever dream of. Just living life. However, I think spring is one of my favorite seasons because the trees aren't naked anymore. There isn't nasty snow sludge on the ground anymore. It all depends on where you live, of course, but you guys know what I'm saying. And you start to see flowers bloom. You start to see trees grow back again. You start to see the weather getting better. Yeah, we have a lot of rain during the spring, but rain is needed for flowers. Rain is needed for growth. Spring is still kind of a transformative season, because you have summer, right? Summer is just like everything is vibrant. The weather is beautiful. It is hot outside. Everyone's outside. Everyone is having a great time. Everyone's in the sun, getting that vitamin D, their freckles start coming back. Everyone's hair is just thriving. But spring is kind of different in terms of summer because it's that transformative period before summer. It's getting out those one last breaths of winter before we head into the summer season. Why am I talking about seasons so much? Why do you keep talking about seasons? Because it directly correlates with spirituality. It directly correlates with how we are as human beings. Because I resonate a lot with spring, not just because it's my birthday season, but because I feel like even at 19 years old, I'm about to turn 20 in 4 days. I feel like even at 19 years old, I am already in this transformative period of my life, And it's kind of hard, I always talk about healing. I always give you guys tips on just getting on your healing journey and becoming better and mindset changes, right? But when you're in that transformative period, when you're in that transition period between your old self and your old mindset versus your new self, your new mindset, your new self-concept, your future self, it can be hard, And I will admit that, okay? This isn't easy all the time, I still catch myself thinking certain thoughts that old Elle would have had mixed with new thoughts that new Elle has, because it's a transition process. It's a transition period for a reason. You don't just transition overnight, This shit takes time, and depending on who you are and how busy you are, what your lifestyle is, it can take shorter or longer for others. But I think that's the beautiful part of it, because if we all just change at the same time, it wouldn't be as special, it wouldn't be as personal to us. I really take my spirituality and my healing journey so personally, because it's my life. And I view my life, my body, my mind, my soul as sacred. Even when I feel like my energy is so drained, I don't shame myself anymore for resting. That's something old Elle used to do, Old Elle used to believe that her worth was only tied to how much she got done in a day, her productivity, she thought her worth was only tied based on how other people viewed her. And I was able to get out of that, my worth is tied to only how other people view me mindset, but sometimes I still struggle with, I didn't get that much done today, that must mean, blah, 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 no. I'm in my spring transition era. I'm in that period where I am releasing and just purging out all of the nasty, negative mindset, lifestyle changes I used to be in, to this new period. And I find myself, you know, sometimes believing that I'm back at square one, but at the same time, I feel like it's such a beautiful thing to be able to see in real time the process, the journey. That's why this is called a healing journey. That's why it's called a transitional process. Because what would be the point if we didn't have this transitional period, you know? What would be the reason if we could just all of a sudden wake up one day and just become better? That wouldn't make it fun. That wouldn't make it fulfilling. You know, if it was that easy, if everyone can do it, it's at the snap of a finger, everyone would do it, of course, but then that's it. Like, it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. It's not fulfilling. Going through each and every season, you know, it's fulfilling to your soul because you're just like, damn, I can really be consistent with my mindset and my goals. And I owe that to myself. I trust myself, you know? Like, spring is just such a beautiful time, like, solely and personally, because you're releasing everything that no longer serves you, whether that's people, whether that's a job, whether that's, you know, a mindset that you had, that you grew up with, okay? And I'm not using this to shame anybody at all. Okay? Because we are all different. We were all raised different. And depending on how we were raised, we were given a certain mindset. You know, I was raised around a lot of negativity. And so I catch myself being irritable quicker. I catch myself getting angry faster. I catch myself just assuming the worst. And why would I want to live that? You know, that does not align with me right now or my future self at all. You know, and of course I still catch myself slipping, you know. I'm still in this transitional period. But that doesn't mean it's forever. I don't want you guys to view this transitional period as hard or, you know, even though I admitted that it's hard, but not in a bad way. Okay? I don't want you guys to believe that this transitional period is, oh, it's so hard. Oh, I don't want to do anything. Oh, I just wish I could snap my fingers and, you know, just be my future successful self. You know, because then what the hell would you look back on? What the hell? Why would you know you're making progress if you couldn't even look back and be like, yo, things used to be like this, but now they're like this? How would you practice that gratitude? You know, if it wasn't for the hard times, why would we even need to practice gratitude? If we were given everything we ever wanted at the touch of our fingers that quick, what would we be grateful for? I have a lot of things to practice gratitude for that I was given since birth. You know, food, water, shelter, of course, all of the basic necessities I show gratitude to. But why can't you show gratitude to yourself for just still being here, no matter how hard your life has been? You know, because I've been through some fucked up shit, and I know you've probably been through some fucked up shit. And you're still here, breathing, alive, no matter what. That's a beautiful thing to be grateful for. Because not everybody gets to age. Not everybody gets to reach a certain age. You know, so that's also something I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the progress that I've made. And I don't want to hear any of you guys being like, oh, I feel like I haven't made enough progress. Like, oh, nothing's ever enough. You are enough. I don't care how little or how big your progress was. I don't give a fuck. You're still here with us on this earth. That's enough. You still got out of bed this morning. That's enough. You still got in the shower. That's enough. You still got an education. That's enough. You still got dressed. That's enough. You know, it's little by little, baby steps. You know, like wherever you are at in your life, you can always make progress. You can always do it. It truly does not matter where you are in your life because you can always make progress with yourself, no matter what. And that's the beauty of life. I want you guys to understand that you can go through a rebirth, that you can go through your spring season and still be happy, still see the positive side, still be grateful for everything that you were given and more, for everything that you can provide for yourself. You know, you're putting in the work, you're watching the educational videos. If you're watching my videos, you are doing something. You are actively trying to change your mindset. And that should be applauded. You know, it's little by little. I don't want you guys to expect that, oh, I'm going to go on this healing journey, and then you decide to start doing everything all at once, and then you get overwhelmed and burnt out really fast. You know? It's your life journey. You get to decide how much content you want to consume of this stuff, of how much you want to learn about yourself. And taking it little by little is okay, you know? If you can handle more, go right ahead. You know, but I want this journey to be personal to you. I want your rebirth, I want your transitional period to be personal to you. That's all I care about. So if you've been wanting a sign from the universe that, hey, enough is enough, I want to change for the better, take this as your sign. Because I'm currently in that transitional period, and you are not alone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow my Instagram and my TikTok at EternallyL. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I tried to get a little personal with you guys and just give you guys a warm hug and just realize that everything will be okay. I love you guys.